whatever. I don't care. Let's just hide that for now and go into sort of a live game at number 1. Let's just very quickly change this so I can make sure that the next game has the right overlay. Perfect. We should be fine though. Not the end of the world. Alright, to the bottom right hand side, the blue Terran player is aLive. If he wins this 2-0, he'd actually be tied with Solar, I think. In terms of map score, we do have a couple of different tiebreakers available. Now, aLive, so far he dropped his map to Solar. So if he won 2-0, Solar... No, if he won 2-0 actually, aLive would be first in the group. So if aLive wins 2-0, he's first in the group. If he drops a map to SortOf, he'd be tied with Solar. And then we would have some other tiebreaker influences coming in. So, that's what we're going to be going for. But we'll see if it becomes a tiebreaker or not anyways, as we get this started. So live bottom right, SortOf top left. SortOf is trying to fight for a map here so you can finish the group in 4th place, which would put him ahead of Ziggy, which would be pretty awesome as well. So Hatch, Gas, and Pool here to start us off on Ephemeron. My -0. This comes in from the standard category. I mean, main base looks pretty good and normal to begin with. Natural comes down, has that position out. There's a little bit of a Reaper hop-up spot here. I guess those pipes block the hop-up spot here. So a little bit of a hop-up spot there. Take the third base out over here as well. No real choice of third base, which I don't think is too much of an issue. Natural has some drop ability. Some dropping areas where you can just drop over there perhaps. And moving towards the 4th over here, maybe take a very forward base as well. Actually, going to be interesting to see some longer games on this map because the base layout is pretty interesting to get us started. And yeah, should be cool to see how it plays out. Also have some of these bridges on the map just pointed out in chat as well, and apparently those might be unbuildable ones, so that's worth keeping in mind. It definitely does separate the map out until these rocks go out. You'd imagine a lot of fights will not happen on these bridges because you don't want to fight through choke points. General rule of StarCraft. And so we'll kind of dictate maybe where the player's trying to attack around. Maybe you look at some more smaller armies kind of launching around the map in different areas. Ooh, nice kill on the drone. Gets the Reaper surrounded though. So one drone to kill the Reaper. I feel if you kill the Reaper it's nice because you deny further information in a little bit. Never nice to lose a drone though, because obviously that drone would have survived anyways if it became an extractor. So it's pretty close. As we are going to be seeing the Lings able to pick off these rocks down on the low ground. Meal drops in on the natural expansion. We are going to be having, I guess, just talk about the space towards the 3rd. I mean, the natural is obviously pretty regular, but then there's so much space over here to get towards the 3rd. Like, there's so much just flat ground. Obviously holding this ramp, and then you're going to want to hold this entrance point here. It feels regular, right? Like, there's some definite attacking possibilities. If you kind of break down these rocks and get up the ramp, then attacking in here is going to be pretty good, or attacking towards the 3rd, and you can kind of make an army split up, and that's kind of tough because of all this space. I mean, you can see how that plays out as well, maybe over the course of the tournament. And something I feel would affect PvZ more than TvZ per se. As we are going to see Hellions straight through the center. What's up, Noticar's coming in for the 6-month resub. Thank you so much for your 6 months as well. Appreciate the sub, love, and support. Thank you indeed. See Hellions pressing forwards. Going to get rid of a few Zerglings there. So Hellions going down. And let's continue to push forwards. And we are going to be seeing again just another drone also getting picked off. 6 workers killed so far. Queen's back in the action. This Hellion run by very effective so far. As one Hellion going down. The other couple of Hellions running away over the right hand side. And again, the Lings going to be picking up those Hellion kills. So, Hellions going down, Liberator popping up in the main base. And we do see the command center from aLive dropping down in the natural expansion as well. So, I'm going to drop this down into the natural as more Zerglings continue to run down to the bottom right. And not a pretty start from SortOf, obviously losing that many workers. There's a couple of extra barracks coming into play now. Factory drops down a reactor here as well. Rax will have to lift up and drop onto that. So SortOf is just going to be ended up against some very regular bio play. Just with a little bit of harassment early game, of course, to keep aLive into a nice strong position as we get started. More of those Overlords gathering up on the front of the natural. Obviously, Overlords like this one could be pretty exposed to that Viking, which has been hunted around a little bit. The British Siege is up. I'm just going to see those drones probably in a little bit of trouble here, but the Queen's actually coming pretty quick. This was good play by aLive. Not only did he target fire the drone initially, so he didn't waste a shot on the Queen, he unsieges the Liberator fast enough that he can get it out alive. That's really sick. That's a really good play. Everything was done correctly there with this Liberator. That's really cool, because you don't see that all the time. I feel like 9 times out of 10 this Liberator dies and it shoots a Queen. Like, but to do all of it, that's really sick. Happy with that. Single SCV just going to be repairing up this Liberator, as we do see +1 melee, +1 carapace. On the way up in the main, obviously, because it's a bio style, a Ling Bane into Muta or Hydra, would be a pretty cool way to play this one. Mutas would be pretty good with the map layout with these bridges. I feel these bridges are pretty good for Zerg in terms of like places to go counterattack on, but obviously if a Terran army sits behind those bridges, you can't just attack across into it. So that's obviously something you've got to be cautious of as well. Liberator dealing some shots here to the Overlord, so Overlord taking some damage. And we do see the other Overlord from SortOf just moving out down the left-hand side here as well. And we have a couple more reactors being brought into play, +1 attack and armor about to finish up on the engineering base and the natural expansion. And the factory going to come down on the third base as well. SortOf's fourth just coming up. Again, the fourth is pretty well protected from larger attacks by these bridges, I feel. I wonder how much these bridges really do just slow the game down, just take us into like a much kind of longer game. Be pretty interesting. Scan on the natural expansion, just aLive trying to pick up some information. Lair on the main is about to finish up. And we're going to see that Liberator Siege up here is going to get rid of the Queen. The Queen's going down. We are going to be seeing Zerglings obviously coming through and forcing lift up there. But that Queen's super low, I think he wants it. He's going to siege up the Liberator. I thought the Bio might unload just a couple of Marines just to try and pick up the kill. Other than then maybe kind of going towards the main or so. It's actually the third base here. This drop path from the fourth to the main is pretty tough. So he's going to start unloading. We do see drilling claws on the way out, so aLive opting for the Widow Mines to kind of accompany the bio in this game. The mines are good against, you know, the mines are good in general. That's a nice sniper plus 2 melee as well. The mines are pretty good in general, although I would generally expect something more along the lines of siege tanks with the Hydras coming up. Well, the Hydra then finishing straight into an infestation pit too, so sort of not messing around, taking straight up here on Ephemeron. It's going to be seeing Marines hanging out in the center. More Lings and Banes coming forwards as well. Those Lings just coming through, Marines lifting up, and the Banes chasing away. Someone was just asking if this game is live. It's a replay played earlier today when other matches from the tournament were happening. Nobody knows the results, so it is as good as live as you can get. You literally will not find a replay that's more live than this one. Marines picking up 4 drones, although Medevac with the more Marines in it gets picked off at the end. Queen's finding this Medevac here as well. Lots of space here though to still kind of hide Medevacs in, etc. and bring them back into play later. Hydra's coming forwards, and aLive lifts up those Marines and pulls them back down towards the center. This command center here for the 4th base going to finish up. So 4th CC finishing, that can move into position now as well. We're just going to be seeing the Hive, the Spire, coming down right now from SortOf, so getting that ready to go. Those concussive shells also on the way up here from aLive. And those Marines stemming forwards once again, going to come through and find themselves another couple of crit tumors already. As Lingers, Banes, and Hydra's pressing forwards, and that's nearly a dead Medevac. Not quite, but so very nearly. Hatchery comes down in the front as we see more Marines and Widow Mines, Medevacs as well. All setting up here as we see these Lingers picking off, being picked off by even more Marines on the left-hand side. And he's going to try and force around once again, but the Marines well positioned to be able to just clean this up. And those Marines surviving quite nicely so far. Again, Hive and the Spire going to be finishing. Groove Spines and Pathogenic Glands continue to build now as well. Lings on the bottom side as you see the bio to the top right. Some of these Widow Mines starting to spread out a little bit. But stim forwards with a few of these Marines. Creep Tumors dropping down already. More Widow Mines burrowing up. Get those Widow Mines to clean up the first few Banes, etc. As the Terran pushes across these ramps into that 4th base. Another Widow Miner 2 still remaining. Tank here to back this up as well. Again, it has mostly been Widow Mine production, but they tanked it early in the game. Still in play and being used as the drop in the natural expansion cleaned up as well and pushed away. SortOf still pressing and finally cleaning these attacks up. And well, aLive not going to be able to end the game. Oh my god, those Hydras choked up on the bridge. That hurts for a moment. But yeah, on the end of this, SortOf has ended in a position where he's pretty well set, I'd say. Like, he's got the Hive up so he can go into Greater Spy. He's held off the big 2-2 push that comes in as the Hive is setting up to go. Bio of aLive coming over to the left side. Picks up a Zergling. Marines here having to lift up again as Lings and Hydras coming in, and just going to be seeing a few Marines hanging out to the right. Viper getting started. Greater Spire about halfway done, so Greater Spire still coming through as well as those Marines continue up the left-hand side. A little bit more of this creep being cleaned out as we have an attack on the right. We're still pressing forwards, and we're just going to be seeing those Lings coming through. We'll be able to pick off these Marines still. I mean, aLive's still just so reliant on being able to drop around the map at the moment. It's absolutely the one thing he's focusing on, with a few kind of larger pushes here and there, but SortOf's very good at cleaning these up. He's also very good at replacing the creep spread when it gets pushed back a little bit, so the creeps maintain a decent level of about kind of halfway through the map. It's very important to keep this base alive with that creep. This base could do with some more creep in front, but so far SortOf's been pretty good at least defending it anyways. Obviously aLive has had a lot of pushes on this side, and that's why the creep's delayed a bit more over here. So a lot of different ways you have to push creep on this map, so it's, you know, not crazy to imagine that the Zerg players will struggle to keep up with it as well as they would on the map. Like, say for example, like Blue Ship, where it's like 1, 2, 3 directions, boom, you're good. It's interesting how different maps actually creep up differently. As you see the ramps held there in the middle. SortOf setting up a bit of a counterattack this time, actually. We haven't really seen much from SortOf across the map at all. More Crypt Gym is being cleaned out. These rocks will take some damage as well, so rocks will fall down. Marines pressing forwards towards the Queen. Lings, Veins, and Hydras keep running in as well. Going to be a full-on cleanup there. And the Medevac's going down too. Bio still coming forward, setting up a few more, pushing in a few more Marauders. Getting rid of a little bit more creep. Coming all the way through. A lot of creep going down, etc. On the bottom right side, the counterattack though finally comes through, and 10 SCVs instantly go down, so SortOf's counterattack getting a lot done so far. And we've seen Lings, Banes, and Hydras pushing through into the high ground here, and we are going to be seeing these units continue to attack through at the moment. On the right hand side as well, we see the Widow Mines continue to blow up a few Broodlings, and the Broodlings making their first appearance here, and that's why aLive's going to be like, well, I kind of need to deal with that somehow. And the moment he's just fighting forwards though, the Broodlings that just do a little bit too much. Good parasitic bombs to kill some Medevacs as well. Hydra's coming to finish this one off in a second. Good hold in the center of the map by SortOf as aLive is pushed away. 32 more Zerglings in production now. As Liberators Bio continue to set up. Wings running through. They're going to take quite a bit of damage here, it feels like. Those Hydras are coming down through the center as well. Flotch with the 25-month resub says, a quarter of a century. A century of months, sure, why not? I love it. Neuroparasite starting up here from SortOf. We're going to see a few more Banes and Fests on the way out. Ghost Academy is about to complete, and more Vikings on the way up again as well. There's Medevac's coming up the right-hand side, and again, a couple of drones dropping off as these this Liberator here on the left is doing a lot of damage too. Hydras coming in, pushing that away. So Liberator will just go and have to harass the other base. If Liberator range, it's obviously able to deny the gas mining there. That's actually nice. Spore in position though, will reach. And that's a dead Liberator. Oof. Jump over to a big fungal growth on that set of Medevacs here. That's a big fungal growth that comes down. Still see aLive with the Bio on the left side as well. Wants to push in towards the 6 base now. He has his own 5 bases up as well. Again, taking this base from both players as the later base here, rather than pushing in towards this base. But in general, it is a hard base to kind of take because it's so far off the beaten path of where you usually go. Love the Liberators, by the way. With Lib range, I feel like these are so good at pushing those Hydras back and the ground army in general. Obviously, the Brood Lords are struggling to be in the right positions now, especially as you take bases right on the edges of the map. Those Broods are going to be, you know, if they go and respond to that left side, then the middle of the map or the right side of the map is going to be so open. Another big fungal growth here, but the base will still go down. Just a little bit of a shame he got caught in that fungal so heavily. Otherwise, he probably could have done so much more. The Infestor saving itself there as well. That fungal necessary. Otherwise, there would have been some trouble. You actually see Liberators coming in here. Paired with like an anti-armor missile, Liberators can do okay against Broods that are stacked up because of the splash damage. But outside of that, it's very rare to see Liberators being successful with Infestors underneath. How are you going to attack into that? Well, not very easily at all. Libs would be much better sieged up with Vikings in the sky or Ghosts to kind of do the rest of it, because then the Liberators pick off a bunch of those Infestors. He adds even more Liberators and the Raven, which makes me feel he will try and fight this with Libs. But at least then with even more Liberators, he's going to be able to siege up a few to push those Infestors back and to keep those at bay as well. Remember, Neuroparasite is a thing, so being able to shoot down Infestors Neuroparasite in your units would be pretty important as well, as he gets rid of a few more Creep Tumors in the center. And pretty much every base on the map being taken right now. aLive secure on the far right-hand side. Starting to build up the bottom left as well here on Ephemeron. Liberators coming into the top right as well. Wants to push through there. We're going to set those Libs up on the left, which zones out a bunch of the units. Again, the Broods are nearby, but do they want to commit that far over? Loses the bottom left-hand base. Not even a cancel. It happens so fast with those Lings that have adrenal glands. They just murder buildings when they get that full surround. The Hydra's here as well. He's just going to run in, and he's going to go straight for the planetary fortress. aLive can repair, and he will begin to repair, but well, the SCVs get taken down, and that's another base that's going to die. Bio pushed forwards here towards the upper side, and well, didn't really do enough before getting abandoned, and that's a full-on cleanup over on this side as well. Now he kills a couple of Infestors, which just went for a bit of a cuddle. Turns out those Infestors for the Terran units were friendly. You know, Marauders have made pretty good snuggle buddies. You know what I want? I want like a full-size plushy Marauder. That'd be so comfy. Oh my god. It would have to be like a Terran unit. Like, Protestants are units would be creepy to snuggle up into. Alright, well, SortOf is still maxed out here as aLive. Has been unsuccessful the last few attempts of attacking. Borderline is gotten off, but not really done much. Transfused to bring the Overseer back up to health as well. I mean, SortOf when he can, just playing efficiently. Resources lost, talking about efficiency. 17k to 22k. aLive definitely has been a little bit brutal so far in terms of these fights. Not really going his way. And he is now going to struggle, I feel, to get this base up. And so he will start mining less than SortOf. And so you've got to be able to keep that in mind as well. Setting up in the center of the map. Sinstar comes up over here as well. Gives you a lot of vision about any attacks on that direction. I feel like aLive should stop trying to build this in location and should instead just build it here. Well, okay, he's got all command centers building here as well. He can float one over then. Some of this creep is protruded forwards and has given actually aLive a chance to set up spores between this base and the rest of the map, which kind of makes you feel like this base is probably going to go down. Because how are you meant to push through those spores? And now this base in the bottom left becomes even more important than before. He sets up a bunch of Liberators to try and defend this area. The Ghosts are over here as well. Everything from aLive is on the bottom left, when actually the entire army of SortOf is on the upper right. So a bit of a weird positioning from aLive here at the moment. And SortOf again still maxed out. Crypto's going to caustic spray down this planetary fortress, so planetary fortress will fall. And Broodlings dropping down and picking up another couple of these SCVs. A bit of a bio drop trying to deny some of the Zerg economy as well, but SortOf already has like 4,200 minerals and 3,200 gas in the bank. That's so much money for him to use at the moment. 13 more drones on the way up, plus 3 missiles, plus 3 flyer attack on the way through. 5 nukes at a time here from aLive. As he sends some ghosts on forwards on their own, you're going to get fungal growth. I'm not sure what his plan is here. Oh my god, the neural EMP! He Neros and EMPs his own ghost. Then the ghost kills another ghost. This ghost's gonna kill another ghost! This ghost is the MVP for the Zerg player. He's not gonna be allowed back in the Terran army after this. Oh my god, that fungal. Everything there was amazing from SortOf. Loved it as we're gonna be seeing the Broodlings dropping down and all those ghosts going down. Way too far forward in position for those ghosts, and only one ghost lives to tell the truth that one ghost killed so many others. Well, doesn't have enough ghosts to drop all the nukes now. That is such an expensive loss from aLive. That's now 27 to 19k resources lost here. That's actually crazy. What's the army supply like? You can see they're just dropping down from aLive. That was just a loss of units for no real reason. It was way too aggressive, got nothing out of it at all. That's not how that's meant to go. A few extra Hydras on the way up here. I mean, again, SortOf holds his entire side of the map, and it feels like aLive is struggling to do the same. He will at least now get the bottom left-hand base set up and ready to go. So that's something for him here, at least, as we see those Marines, Vikings gathering up as well. Wouldn't mind if we get a few of the Zerglings in the front. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Banelings. aLive still has orbitals and everything. He just doesn't trade well enough to build up enough of a bank to max out, and that's kind of the issue. That is kind of the issue at the moment. Just gonna see these Hydras, these Banes, setting up on the far right. Brooklyn's getting a few more of these rocks over here as well. In fact, they're still setting up with extra Spore Crawlers on the way out currently. Plus 2 Flyer Carapace on the way as well, just improving that air army, the Broodlords, Corruptors, etc. All going to benefit from this here. And you have got creep spread continuing to press forwards. Queen's coming down this left-hand side, pushing that creep along. We see the Liberator able to pick up the Queen as well. I mean, those limbs actually on those bridges are actually very effective. They don't have a Bioforce against Lingbane Hydra. Generally, when the Ghost count rises up, which is what we saw here from aLive, the Lingbane Hydra is committed a bit more into again by the Zerg, because Ghosts don't really trade well against Lings and Banes. So you can actually justify bringing a bit more of it into the composition, as that's a big fungal growth on top of a bunch of those Vikings. Another fungal lands, so they can't even kite away as the Corruptors come through, but then a mass of snipes will come on in as well. EMP lands on one of those Infestors. The forward base here taken down instantly. Broodling's just way too good at this stage. And SortOf just continues to bully aLive down to the bottom right-hand side of the map. 5 more Liberators on the way up, and as 5 more Liberators come out here, I mean, it is absolutely the one thing that aLive has to rely on at this point. It's going to drop a nuke as well. I mean, maybe a well-placed nuke somewhere could catch an army off guard or so. I think SortOf has seen where this nuke is. Brings the Overseer in to clean up the Widow Mines. Will get the Ghost as well. Oh, actually runs straight past the Ghost. That Ghost doesn't want to die. Or SortOf wants to keep that Ghost alive. I don't know. Somehow this Ghost is going to go running. He will get caught in the end, unfortunately. Right side, just going to be seeing the Liberator sieging up again. The Bio going to be able to pick away at these spores, which were set up way early on in this game when aLive actually was mining from this base. So aLive changing up the direction of attack here, and there's a lot of... so satisfying to see so many creep tumors go down. I mean, there's way more than are needed, but it's, you know, it's like, yes, Terran's killing something. It feels like he hasn't killed much in a little while. I mean, he had some snipes on Corruptors. It's been about it, as at least aLive has found his way to being maxed out. These Vipers over here with the Corruptors as well. I don't even know if the Parasitic Bombs were needed. We'll be able to now push this bottom left-hand base. aLive will go to the top right and try and kill a base there as well. So base 4 base is his hope. He has so many SCVs on this planetary though, and well, they're all going to go down. As the work count's dropping below 50 from both players, probably below 40 in the next few moments actually. All of those SCVs getting blown up. That top right base goes down. aLive 33 SCVs, SortOf 34 drones, but of course SortOf with 5,000 minerals and 5,000 gas in the bank is looking just fine still. Banes and Hydras pressing through. Ghosts have to start running away pretty much right away now, as those Banes keep on coming into this. Bio getting blown up. A little bit of Bio running by up here, but I mean, that's just more units that aLive's going to lose that he cannot afford to replace. He doesn't have the economy that he needs. That's GG, and SortOf picks up the first game against aLive. Bottom left-hand side, up one game, our blue Terran player. Oh, don't proxy. We saw proxy on this map before. No. Well, hopefully we'll see a bit of a different proxy or something that maybe extends the game. Loss aversion. 2 games, 2 proxies. Aye. Alright, bottom left-hand side, aLive. Opening up with the proxy free. We actually saw him do this against Solar earlier today, and it did pick him up a map win. As we have to the top right side of the map, our red Zerg player is going to be SortOf. TvZ gifts a sub out to Apoptology. Thank you so much, Rifkin. How you doing? I was actually going to mention at the end of the stream today that Rifkin is doing some European Cups in the next couple of days. We've lined up the content so that you can go from our stream to theirs after or thereabouts, or so at least we can cross-promote it and talk about it. So do check it out, WardiTV. Later today. I believe it starts in about an hour. Maybe Riff will be live a bit sooner. I don't know. I'm not Rifkin. But do check that out. WardiTV for some StarCraft action later on today. Thanks so much for the sub gift as we get this set to go. The free racks proxied here. And so far, Solo just setting up with a hatchery first, gas in the pool. But the free racks is very far away. Like, it's all the way over here. It has to run all the way across, then up like this. That's crazy at the moment. Alright, so a few Marines continue to pop out. A couple of SCVs sat at the front. Another Marine starts up here as well, so continue to get this going. I mean, again, SortOf just has no idea about this. As we see a couple drones on the low ground already. He sees this for the first time, like, about now, as the SCVs run by and the Overlord sees it. First bunker start up and sort of pulls up to the high ground. He keeps a couple of drones on the low ground here. Doesn't want to fight with them, though. He's pulling the rest of his drones down, too. Starts up a spine crawl as the drones will run forwards and get a bit of a surround on this bunker already. Now, already loses one drone, though, to the Marines. Loses two as he's looking for that surround. He'll find two Marines surrounded, but, I mean, 3 workers lost, 4 workers lost already. This is painful. Lings have at least now come out, and he will stop the bunker production. And the spine crawler coming up as well, so getting to a point where this is looking okay, actually. I mean, he gets the queen too. This bunker in the front still not finished. More SCVs coming across the map. Ooh, sort of build a couple of drones. As long as he builds more Lings now, he should be okay, I think. He does let the spine finish up, which is very important. Again, this SCV pull to try and end the game right now. So an SCV pull to try and end the game. The young group continue to press forwards here at the moment, and, well, Marines wanting to come in so far. Ready to push through into this. Lings spreading out a little bit as well, and Queen throws down an inject. Here we go. SCVs, Lings, drones will have to pull forwards as well. Try and protect as much as possible here. Lings going for the surround right away on the Marines. Now not really fighting in spine crawler range, though. Just on a couple of those SCVs is where the spine is hitting. I mean, the spine's surviving a long time. 6 more Lings on the way up. SortOf doesn't have much army supply, but that spine still has so much HP, and the SCV count is so low now. I think SortOf's going to hold on. I think SortOf probably has this at the moment. Oh, he's gone around the other side. I mean, these mineral patches have a bunch of minerals on them. Actually, this one has the least, so you could go around there. He's just out of position. I mean, SortOf now may build another 10 Lings. Still has that spine up. Maybe missing the queen that he had before. He's on his way towards Ling speed, so it's slowly getting better for him here. Probably has to pull drones in once again, as the spine will take a lot of damage initially. The Lings don't want to commit. Maybe just wants to wait for Ling speed a little bit longer. And he's going to fight on creep at least. Spine's still alive. Ling speed about to kick in, so here we go. As SortOf is going to dive on towards those Marines. He's going to get the surround, and that's a GG. SortOf picks up game 2. And that from SortOf is absolutely huge for him.